This week, history was made. Not Starship, not Artemis, not a lunar landing. For the first time ever, ordinary investors could buy a piece of SpaceX. And what followed was nothing short of extraordinary. SpaceX became the largest IPO in history, raising roughly $75 billion and reaching a valuation above $2 trillion. Shares were priced at $135 and closed their first trading day at nearly $161, a gain of almost 20%. At the opening ceremony, SpaceX President Gwen Shotwell addressed investors before handing over to Elon Musk for the opening bell. And Musk reminded everyone why SpaceX exists in the first place.
There are always problems on Earth. There are always things that we wish to be better, that we want to solve here on Earth, and we should solve them. But there also have to be things that get you excited about the future, that make you glad to wake up in the morning, because you can't wait what happens next. And that's the future that SpaceX wants to bring to you.
And honestly, that sentence perfectly captures the spirit of SpaceX. Because SpaceX was never just about rockets. It was never just about launching satellites. It was never just about making money. It was about making humanity a multi-planetary species. And to understand why this IPO matters so much, we need to go back more than 20 years. Back to 2002. A relatively unknown entrepreneur named Elon Musk sold PayPal and invested most of his fortune into a crazy idea: building a private space company. Almost everyone thought he would fail. The first Falcon 1 launch failed. The second failed. The third failed. SpaceX was nearly bankrupt. Then came Flight 4. Success. Soon after, NASA awarded SpaceX a contract that saved the company and changed the future of spaceflight forever. Then came Falcon 9, the first reusable orbital rocket. At first, the booster landings failed, again and again. Many people laughed, but SpaceX kept iterating. Eventually, the boosters landed. Today, booster landings are almost routine. Then came Falcon Heavy, then Starlink, and now Starship, the largest and most powerful rocket ever built. And just this week, SpaceX also unveiled its AI-1 orbital data center concept, showing that the company is already thinking beyond launch services and communications satellites. So why did Elon Musk resist taking SpaceX public for so many years? Because he feared Wall Street would focus on quarterly earnings rather than long-term exploration. Building a city on Mars is expensive. It takes decades, and many investors would prefer immediate profits instead of funding humanity's future. For years, Musk argued that SpaceX needed the freedom to pursue Mars without public market pressure. Now that SpaceX is public, investors are essentially making a choice. Do they believe in that vision? I do. In fact, I bought about $2,000 worth of SpaceX shares on day one. And personally, I plan to buy more whenever the stock dips. Not financial advice, just my long-term conviction. Because I believe SpaceX will become one of the most important companies of the 21st century. Now here's something fascinating. While SpaceX surged, many other space stocks dropped sharply. Rocket Lab, Intuitive Machines, Firefly Aerospace, AST Space Mobile. Many investors appear to have taken profits from those companies and rotated into SpaceX instead. There was no major negative news from these companies. The most likely explanation is capital rotation into the sector's new giant. But long term, I don't think this hurts the sector. I think it helps. Because now the entire world is suddenly paying attention to space stocks. And that could benefit everyone. NASA also announced the crew for Artemis III this week. The 4 astronauts selected are Commander Randy Bresnik, pilot Luca Parmitano from ESA, Mission Specialist Frank Rubio, and Mission Specialist Andrew Douglas. Artemis III is currently targeted for 2027. The mission will test docking operations between Orion and commercial lunar landing systems from SpaceX and Blue Origin before future lunar landing missions. This is a huge milestone because for the first time, NASA is openly integrating multiple commercial partners into a mission architecture that will eventually return humans to the moon and ultimately prepare us for Mars. Speaking of the moon, Blue Origin provided an encouraging update after the New Glenn explosion. CEO Dave Limp says the launch pad damage appears significantly less severe than initially feared. Critical infrastructure survived. The company still hopes to return New Glenn to flight before the end of the year. That's important because NASA needs Blue Origin for future Artemis lunar missions and Blue Moon development. Rocket Lab is moving toward the debut of Neutron. Firefly continues preparations for Blue Ghost 2. Intuitive Machines is progressing toward IM-3. Blue Origin is working toward a New Glenn return to flight, and SpaceX is pushing toward Starship Flight 13, orbital refueling demonstrations, Starlink expansion and ultimately Mars. The next few months could be among the most exciting periods in spaceflight history. 20 years ago, SpaceX was a startup struggling to survive after multiple rocket failures. Today it is worth more than $2 trillion. But the real story isn't the stock price. The real story is that millions of investors have now become stakeholders in humanity's future beyond Earth. And that future may lead all the way to Mars. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe and let me know in the comments. Did you buy SpaceX stock? And where do you think SpaceX will be 10 years from now? Thanks for watching, and as always, keep looking up, and I'll see you in the next episode. Ciao.